So, hello and welcome to Coffee with Kass. I love that. And I have a coffee today from, it's not actually from Starbucks. Um, it is from a hotel I'm staying in here in Nashville, Tennessee. And so, how often do we assume that something is what it is not based on the appearance, right? I'm in the middle of a 3-day body class in Nashville, and so many conversations going on with the tools of access consciousness. And one of the tools that I absolutely fall in love with every single day is the question, what else is possible, right? What else is possible? Today, as I was riding to the class this morning, one of the gals that was riding with me said, why is it that you never go into the wrongness of a situation? How is it that you always are functioning from what else is possible? So let me ask you, how much time do you spend, right, regretting something? How much time do you spend going into the wrongness of you or something? How much time do you spend looking at what is not possible instead of looking at what is possible? And everything, everywhere, we are always looking at what went wrong, what is not possible, what we can't do, what we won't do, instead of asking the question, what else is possible? Can we destroy and uncreate all that? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine short boys and beyonds. Now, it's a very simple tool. And I know people are always asking, what's the latest body process? What is the latest verbal process? What is the latest and the greatest? But what if the basics, as simple as a cup of coffee, were the driving force to motivate you to explore different possibilities? Yeah. Couple of conversations about this, what else is possible. You know, it literally, believe me, it literally changes the number of possibilities that show up in front of you, right? Anytime we go into conclusion, and what is conclusion? Conclusion is answer. Conclusion is dead end road. Conclusion is this is the way it is. Every time we say that, we eliminate the elementals, all the molecules that are waiting to engage with us. Just try it for a moment. Think of something that happened to you yesterday or the day before that was not making you happy, that was not adding to your joy. Now, if you happen to be someone that nothing was going on yesterday that did that, please, you don't have to search for something. If there was one thing yesterday where you said, oh man, or why, or no, or everything that is, all the oh man, oh no, why, or that we have, and we're allowing to be more relevant than what else is possible. Can we destroy and uncreate all that? right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine short boys and beyonds. You know, time is something that is of this reality only. What does that mean? It means if you do not consider having to do one thing before the next thing, before the next thing, the linearity of having to do A before you can get to B, and B before you can get to C, and C before you can get to D, then you might get tired before you explore what X, Y, and Z is possible and what's possible beyond Z. So everywhere we are being linear and following one path without being aware of all the possibilities that present themselves as we take the next step, can we destroy and uncreate all that? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine short boys and beyonds. You know, I'm in the United States at the moment, and I've been here for 2 weeks, and I have another 2 weeks here. That is not a question. Do you notice that? I have another 2 weeks here. My airline ticket says I have another 2 weeks here. But what if I were to consider what else is possible? And I have been asking that question, playing with that question, really all my life, but particularly in the last couple of days. And so many things have popped up. I am thinking maybe I'll fly back to Rome or forward to Rome. Maybe I'll go to Maestro. Maybe I'll go to Rome, attend Dr. Dane Here's Maestro class, and then come back in time for the event at the end of the month that I'm supposed to be here for. Now, we might think, oh no, that's way too much travel. Oh no, that's not a good idea. Oh no, there are no tickets available. Oh no. But what if we just allowed ourselves to entertain, to think about, to ask a question, so that the molecules around our decisions, the density around our conclusion can start moving. And even if that question you're asking about, going to Rome for Maestro, is not what you choose, you have already, just by being willing to entertain something, you have already opened up other possibilities. Okay? So let me say it again. When you are functioning from conclusion, when you're functioning from answer, when you're functioning from this is what I've decided and this is what I'm going to do, right? There's no space in between there, that conclusion, for the universe to play and the energy to move and new possibilities to show up for you. So, what if you were to say, what else is possible? What if I flew to the moon today? Now, probably you're not planning to fly to the moon today, but the playfulness of that question engages the elementals, engages the playful molecules, engages your silly laughter button, right? Which allows some space to open up around you and to present some possibilities that you've never considered. Now, of course, you may never have considered going to the moon, but when you're willing to ask a question that is not logical and not linear, then what is able to present itself to you are some possibilities that you may have already excluded because they are not in line with the conclusion that you've made. I tell often this story about once deciding to go to an ESB class of Dr. Dane here in Canada. It was several years ago. I had been to ESB classes. I had hosted ESB classes. And if you're not familiar with ESB, it stands for Energetic Synthesis of Being. DrDaneHeer.com. You can find it, DainHeer.com. And there will be in January an ESB class in Sao Paulo. I would highly recommend it. They're wonderful classes. Okay, so I had decided to go to a class of Dr. Dane, ESB, in Canada. Now, you notice there's no question there. I didn't even want to ask a question about it because I had decided I wanted to go. And I didn't want the universe or the molecules to send me any information that was not in line with what I had decided. So everywhere we've made a decision and we don't even want to ask a question because we don't want to receive the response that is not in line with our question. I will repeat that. Everywhere we have made a decision and we don't want to ask a question about it because we do not want to receive a response that is not in agreement, in line with our decision. Please, can we destroy and create all that? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, short boys and beyond. Okay. I had hosted Dr. Dane for ESB. I had translated the class from English to Italian in Rome 3 or 4 times. But this time, there was a class where I could just go as a participant, not a host, not a translator, participate. Wow. I decided to go. And the universe kept trying to knock on my door and present different possibilities, but I kept closing the door. And then the universe knocked on the window with a different possibility, but no, can't do that. Can't even look at that because I've decided I'm going to the ESB in Canada. I had to restrict my vision so much so that I would not be distracted by the possibilities. Finally, I couldn't even see anymore. And I asked a question. Okay, truth, is it going to create more if I go to the ESB in Canada? Now, I never asked that question because I already assumed that the answer was going to be no. I already assumed that all these possibilities that are showing up were showing up because they wanted to distract me from my decision. When I asked the question, truth, is it going to create more if I go? It was light. It wasn't a yes, it wasn't a no. It was just neutral. So I asked the other question, truth, will it create more if I choose to do something else? Again, it was light. It wasn't a light for yes or heavy for no. It was just neutral. So I asked this one question that Gary Douglas always asks. Truth, is it just about choice? Hugely light. I began to laugh. I began to laugh because I was able to see how many possibilities I was not willing to look at because I had already concluded that my decision was the only choice I was willing to look at. I did not want to look at possibilities. Just because you are aware of something does not mean you have to do anything about it. Just because you get a huge awareness that something will be a great contribution to your life doesn't mean you have to choose it, okay? You can still choose anything. And this was such a great lesson for me. However, The choice you make when you're willing to look at all the possibilities is going to be more of a contribution to you because you are functioning from awareness and consciously choosing. Okay? So everywhere you are not willing to look at all the possibilities because you have already decided what you're going to do, please know you can still do what you've decided, but allow your body, allow your being, allow the universe to play and to be light with the energy of question, with the plethora, the infinite possibilities, because possibilities are definitely a really exciting energy, and with the choices that will create more for you, your life, your living, and the planet. Okay? We talk about with access question, possibilities, choice, and contribution. And a lot of times people just take that as something you do. What if questions, what else is possible? It's not something you do, but something you are willing to be. The being, the energy of question, right, is when every time something shows up or happens, nothing happens. We create everything. We create the space so that things can show up. But we say in this reality, every time something happens, what if your first reaction were, wow, wow, what else is possible? Interesting. What else is possible? How can I look at this in at least three different ways? How can I look at this question, at this statement, at this event, at this choice in at least three different ways from three different angles, which would give me more awareness and open up more possibilities? So, everywhere we are not asking questions, not willing to receive the information because of what we have already decided, can we destroy and create all that? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Every time you ask the question, what else is possible? The universe is sending, changing molecules, moving things around to send you different possibilities, to illuminate them from you, for you, to illuminate them from you as well. Because how many possibilities do we have locked into our minds, locked into our bodies, that if we were willing to live as the question, would open up, give our bodies more space. And when our bodies have more space, our bodies are willing to interact with the space that's all around us. And when we are interacting with the space that's all around us, right, we are willing to receive more information. And I've got to just tell you a secret that makes life more interesting. Because when we live with decisions and conclusions, we get bored. Now, I know, if you're going to take a plane, for example, you need to make a reservation. But I've got to take a plane maybe tomorrow night, maybe on Tuesday, at some point, and I'm still asking questions. And every time I ask questions, more and more and more possibilities show up. And maybe in the end, I will make the choice that was originally my decision. That is, to stay in the United States another 2 weeks. However, the amount of information that I have received, not just about that decision, but about my life, my living, my business, my relationship, my money situation, my points of view about money. The amount of information I've received about all those different areas just by being willing to ask a question is huge. So please be willing to ask a question about anything, and don't assume that the information that you receive based on that question is linear. What does that mean? Don't assume that you asking a question about, shall I go to a class, right? Shall I attend, for me, it was the ESB in Canada. Shall I attend that class in Canada? Truth. What will my life be like in 5 years if I attend that class? Truth. Will it be a contribution if I attend that class? Truth. Just by being willing to ask a question about that one decision, what showed up in my universe was so much information about possibilities somewhere else. So I have a question for you, my coffee friends. Does everyone have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea? Or depending on what time it is, a glass of wine maybe? Or a caipirinha if you're in Brazil. I've got a question for you. What decision have you made that if you were willing to ask questions about it would give you information that could change your life? Right? What decision have you made? I'm going to stay in the United States for 2 weeks. I'm going to attend this class. I'm not going to attend this class. I am going to stay home all day. I am going to move from one city to another. I am going to invest my money in a company. I am going to leave my wife or my husband. I am going to ... What is the decision? Any decision. Take any decision that you have made and play with it. Ask a question about it. Truth. What will my life be like in 5 years if I choose something different? Truth. What else is possible in this situation that I have not yet considered? What else is possible? That is you triggering the universe to send you information. It's you opening a doorway of possibilities. It's you allowing one ingreso. Do you say that in Brazil? Ingreso, where you come in, right? The doorway. Because a lot of times the information, the possibilities are trying to show up in different areas of our lives, but those are not open at all. So pick something that you know is concrete. Come on, I'm going to stay in my house. I'm not moving, right? Pick something that you know is concrete and just try it. What else is possible? I'm choosing to stay here, but what else is possible? And through that doorway, through that question about something you've already decided, the universe may open up a garden of possibilities that you have not yet considered about something else. So, what engagement of the elementals of the information, of the possibilities are you willing to be today? Are you willing to play with today that you weren't willing to play with yesterday? Please try it. Please take something you've decided, even if you've already paid for it, even if you've already got your plane ticket, even if you're already at the threshold of the door getting ready to walk in, ask the question anyway. What else is possible? If I were not choosing this, what else would be possible? And allow the floodway, the highway of possibilities to open up for you. Just the simplicity of this question. I have been playing with this question, and I'm going to tell you, I rediscover it every day. I rediscover it every day. So, what are you unwilling to ask a question about that, if you were willing, would change all realities and allow you to ride the waves of change? Yeah. Have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or a lovely glass of water. Nurture your body and open up that space of possibilities. See you on the next Coffee with Kass. Thank you so much for joining. Bye bye. Obrigada. Grazie, gracias. Kusanam. Teşekkürler. Bye bye.